Welcome to the syndicate, where real estate wholesaling is what the business is. Ain't gotta talk about it when you out here living it. So if you out here getting it, then welcome to the syndicate. Welcome to the syndicate.
Is wholesaling ethical? Because there's a lot of people saying that it's not. There's people, and I think they're either one, haters, or two, very misinformed. Because some of the things they say, and the reason I want to talk about this is because somebody asked it in our school community. They said, "Hey, I want to get into wholesaling, but I keep seeing a lot of bad things about it. I always see all this negative stuff. People say that they're taking advantage of sellers in bad situations, for one, and two, and then they're taking advantage of buyers on the back end by making money on it." So if you think these things, one, I think you're just salty, or you're mad, or you just don't know. It could be a bit of both. And definitely just you don't know, because you don't understand what wholesaling is. I think a lot of it comes from real estate agents that are just trained to do things one way. They try to fit everybody into one box. We've had a great podcast with my friend Matt Teifke when we talked about his perspective on this as a broker who does teaches people how to wholesale, does teach them how to do creative options like sub 2, like novations, like seller finance, because a lot of times somebody listing a property, it's not even going to help them. If they're about to get foreclosed on, they have a week to go and their house is beat up, you list that property to the real estate agent, it's not going to sell in time. If someone does that, you're doing them a huge disservice. And that's why, unless that person has cash buyers, and really what is wholesaling? It's selling it quickly, being the middle person, selling it to cash buyers, or if they have the money themselves or funds to close themselves to help that person, there's not really many other options for that person. And definitely listing it with an agent is not one that's going to help there. So I challenge you to stop thinking about real estate just one way. If you're someone who thinks that way, if you think that everyone should list it, that's the only way to do it. And then if we're talking about that, and is it the issue then that wholesalers shouldn't be making money? I believe anyone that's providing value should make money. I mean, what else is money for if not, to help, exchange value? But if you have that argument that wholesalers shouldn't be making money, then why do real estate agents make commissions? Why does anybody get paid? I mean, you get paid when you provide value to the marketplace. And are there unethical people out there that do take advantage of sellers? Of course. I mean, there's unethical people in any industry. You can look at Dr. Death, documentary about bad doctors out there. There's in any industry, you'll find there's bad actors. There's people that are either one, they're just outright unethical. They know what they're doing is wrong. They do it anyways. And there's people who are just ignorant and don't know, and they're not doing it the right way and haven't been taught how to do it the right way yet. One of the reasons we started the podcast and the reason we started communities help combat the lack of education or lack of knowledge, because there is an issue. I mean, that I think part of the issue why we see it more in wholesaling is because the barrier is low. I mean, anybody can get in, and there's a lot of people teaching it the wrong way, and they're not teaching to provide value, not operate with core values or ethics, and that's when things get out of whack. But that being said, so many different ways wholesalers can help. That's just one scenario. But sometimes people just want speed and convenience. I like to look at it like ordering off Uber Eats. I know I could drive to the store and get it, and I'd probably save myself like $40 and go pick it up if I want to, order something in. But if I'm ordering it, it's probably because I don't feel like going out that night. I probably worked hard all week, and I know I did. But just putting your mindset instead of a seller or someone else, if you work hard all week and you just don't want it, you just want it quick, you want it easy, you want it now. That's what wholesaling is. There's someone's trading speed and convenience. Or they want speed and convenience, so they're giving up equity. They're paying for it. Just like anything where you overpay to get better service or to get quicker and faster service. Literally that simple. I don't know how many sellers you talk to, especially out west. They just got it like that. They don't really give a fuck. They make money doing other things, and they just want the property gone. They want it now so they can focus on it, or they want to put it back into their business or whatever. Or they have another deal on the table, like investors. They just want to get rid of the property. They want to get rid of it now, and they don't want to wait. They don't want to deal with open houses. They don't want to deal with showings. One of my favorite questions to ask people, and you'll hear if you ever heard me close people, I'll ask it almost every time, is It sounds like a great property. Let me ask, why haven't you listed it with the real estate agent? And listen, they'll tell you. They'll tell you why they don't want to. And I'm not saying it's not. Most transactions are done that way for a lot of people. If they don't have some underlying issue, if they don't have a specific situation, usually it is the best for them to list it. If they have time, if they're not under pressure, they don't need to sell right away. If they want as much money as they can get, they don't mind waiting. They don't mind dealing with open houses. They don't mind doing all that. They just want to get as much as they can. List with an agent. That's probably your best bet. Like I'm saying, there's different people have different needs, and that's why wholesaling exists. That's why all the different creative real estate strategies exist, is because people have different needs, different values, and really the goal is to create a win-win scenario for everyone. That's why in my sales process, I spend 80% of the time, if not more, trying to listen, ask questions, find out their whole scenario and like what's going on and what is the best way. How can I help them? How can I serve them? How can I, make money for everyone here? How can I, get everyone to win in this scenario? Because sometimes you just can't. Sometimes they're unrealistic and they're not motivated. They don't really want to sell. So that's fine. Then identify that and move on. But that's why I want to know, like, is this a subject? Will this work for a subject to best? Like, will this work for? Or is it paid off? Like, should I start thinking seller finance? They want more money. Like, they don't really care. They don't want to be a landlord anymore. Tired landlords, and I'm thinking seller finance. And as you go, again, it's more advanced. If you're just getting started, don't worry about all that stuff. But just don't worry, but be aware that there's other options out there. You don't always have to force someone down one path. And if you ever have a call and like, hey, this wholesale offer is not working, I think one of these other things might work, but they don't. You don't know how to pitch it, or you don't know how to do it, and you're worried about that. Don't just throw the lead away. Reach out to me or come into the school community, post in there. You need help with the deal. There's plenty of people who help you close it. That way you can still make money on it, because I guarantee, if you've only been doing that one path, even as an agent or even as a wholesaler, if you've just been trying to force everyone down this one path, I guarantee that you have a lot of money in your CRM. There's a lot of leads that you could have made money on that haven't. So if you want to make some extra money, it wouldn't hurt to go back through those leads, find them, get them organized, and come in our group, and let's help you make some money together. So that's the first one. So buyers. So I feel like hopefully I answered that. If you have a different opinion, love to hear it. Two, are buyers going to take advantage of, or are we hiking prices up? So no, I mean, I'll say it's not what the question was asked in the group, but one issue is I think a lot of wholesalers, they don't know how to run comps properly. They try to force deals that aren't there. They don't go deep in the sales process, and they just say yes to get it under contract, and they push it out with what they have it at, and they can't move it, and they're wondering why. And it sucks. I mean, you get that dopamine hit when you get something under contract, but the worst thing to do is get a property locked up too high, try to pitch it too high, and not be able to move it. But that's a topic that's a whole nother conversation. But going back to the question of buyers can take advantage, no. I mean, are some? Yes. Like, there are new buyers who've never done a deal before from big companies like Net Worth or New Western that I don't know how they move some of these properties, but they do. And they move them to brand new investors. But at the same time, like, even if they are paying more than like a lot of people, like, as long as their buyers aren't losing money on the deal, they're still making money. It's a win-win scenario. If the buyer, if someone's an investor, they're going to look at the deal, and if the numbers don't make sense, they're not going to buy it. I mean, it's that simple. It goes back to the first point of making sure you do your numbers right, make sure it actually is a deal. But no, I mean, so most transactions are done like we talked about before on the MLS. They're bought through a real estate agent, even on the buyer side. I think a lot of people don't really realize that, because we're in wholesaling, we see it all the time, or we're aware of wholesaling, and whatever you focus on, you see, and it's in your state of awareness. Like, so we know about wholesaling, but most people don't. Most people just buy off the MLS from a real estate agent. They pay full price. They follow the BRRRR strategy. They listen to bigger pockets and just traditional things where those are great strategies for those people. They work, and they're trying to build up long-term wealth. It makes a lot of sense. But it's how much more value can they get if they bought that same property that they paid 100% for, at 70% or less? And that's the benefit, that's the value they get from working with a wholesaler that knows their stuff. And just go to a if you're worried about buyers don't like wholesalers, As a whole, like I said, wholesalers do have a bad reputation. There are a lot of, like, the squeaky wheels are the loudest ones. So people that are doing it the wrong way. Like I said, in any industry that happens, but I think with wholesaling, it's easy to magnify on because, it's, people get like to bitch. But said, if you go to, like, just to see how this is not true, just to like prove my point, go to a RIA, go to any local meetup you find that's just investors there, like just regular investors, and then go and say, hey, I'm a wholesaler, I work for myself, I'm looking for buyers that I can bring, heavily discounted properties to. And like you'll laugh at how many business cards you get, how many people are gonna want to shake your hand and meet you, because they see that value. I'm like, who wouldn't want to get shit for fucking 70% off or half off? Like, I don't know. So you gotta be a fucking hater if like you're saying that stuff. And I think again, it's just people that are misinformed. Like, just because you're an agent doesn't mean you can't use these strategies. Doesn't mean you can't work with wholesalers. Doesn't mean we can't all make money together. And it's just trying to stop thinking everything is like so black and white. Nothing's black and white. The truth's always usually somewhere in the middle, like anything. But that's my perspective. I think wholesaling is 100% ethical if you do it the right way. I mean, you can make anything unethical, like we said, but if you operate with core values, you operate with integrity, you do what you say you're going to do first, and you put yourself last, and like you make sure your clients are getting taken care of first, because your reputation matters. Having a bad reputation gets around quick. The real estate community is a lot smaller than we think. The people that are actually doing deals. So operate with integrity, operate with core values, and you're going to create win-win scenarios for everyone, and it's one of the best vehicles, if not the best vehicles, to get in. So I love wholesaling. Like I always say, I wish I found it sooner, but I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you listening to the podcast. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to come join us over on School. We are, last I checked, hopefully by the time you listen to this, we'll be closer, but we're almost number one school group for wholesale real estate. We're number 2 right now, but we're fucking right there. So come join, help us get that number 1 spot. We do free trainings in there. You get my course for free, scripts, contracts. You have any questions, drop them in there. You'll get your answers. And honestly, there's more value than a lot of these paid groups out there, and any ones I've seen at least. So I think you're gonna like it. So just go to School, type in Wholesaling Syndicate, you'll find us, and or just type in wholesale real estate, and you'll find us. Hopefully we'll be number 1 by then. But I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Y'all keep crushing it.